Hi, thanks for joining me in another video. We're driving a pickup truck that has made history in North America over generations and continues to evolve. Today we get to look at a new model, the all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning. The F-150 was officially introduced in 1975. You know, back when VHS was coming around and people saw Jaws for the first time? Now we're in 2022, almost 5 decades since then, and we've been presented with an electric version. Well, it was unveiled in 2021, but still, it's history in the making. The name Lightning also has history dating back to the 90s. Ford brought the name back and electrified it. The Lightning starts at $46,974 MSRP for the Pro model and goes all the way up to $96,874 MSRP for the Platinum Extended Range model. Depending on the battery range option you choose, your range will vary between 240 miles to 320 miles. What we have today is a Ford F-150 Lightning Lariat, so one step below the highest trim. We have the standard battery in this EV, which means it has 98 kilowatt hours of usable energy. It has 2 motors, it's capable of 4-wheel drive and has a maximum payload of 2,234 pounds. It can tow a maximum of 7,700 pounds with the max trailer tow package. However, higher trims can tow up to 10,000 pounds. It does 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds and has 452 horsepower on the standard range or 580 horsepower on the extended range. Of course, there is more to talk about in detail, but let's first explore its exterior. The body of the Lightning is very similar to the gas-powered F-150, so Ford is keeping their design close to what consumers are most familiar with. The biggest changes are seen in the front. There is this light bar that stretches all along the length of the nose. The grille is paneled off, but it still has a pattern to resemble a traditional grille. Beneath the fake grille are the air intakes. The charging port is on the driver's side in the front, disguised under this badging panel. This truck uses a J connector and CCS to charge. There is an identical panel on the other side, but it doesn't have a charging port behind it. It's just there for symmetry. Similarly, in the back, we see the rear lighting extending across. The Lightning badging is towards the back on both sides. There are 10 exterior color choices and a lot of exterior optional add-ons. For example, you can include the LED box lighting with enhanced zone lighting, which is great when working at night. Dimensions come in at 232.7 inches in overall length. Wheelbase is 145.5 inches, width with mirrors is 80 inches, cab height is 78.3 inches, and ground clearance is 8.4 inches. So this full-size pickup will still be able to fit in most garages, but not this one. On to some of the cool things this truck can do. Ford is offering a package for this truck which allows for V2H capability. Vehicle-to-grid and vehicle-to-home applications are still in their infancy. Even though CHAdeMO had it from the get-go, it never took off in the US, so I'm glad to see it's finally coming around. Even the smaller 100 kilowatt hour pack has a good amount of power during an outage, and could keep you running for a couple of days. As of right now, this truck won't do V2G, but maybe that's something we'll see in the future. For this to work, you need a special charging station and a grid disconnect. You can read more about it on the Ford website. Next is the front trunk. It's huge. Its total volume is 14.1 cubic feet. Just like we saw on the Rivian, there's a ton of space up here. One positive about this over the Rivian is that everything slides in and out flat, so it's very easy to access. The Rivian also had a bit of a shelf so larger objects couldn't sit flat. Let's bring out the blue cooler and see if it fits. And I have no doubt that it will fit. You could fit maybe 2 of them. Now let's close. Great. You can actually use the front itself as a cooler, as it's water resistant and drains. As you can see, a lot of things can probably go in here. It has a payload capacity of 400 pounds. It also has USB ports and AC outlets up here in the front to power things. These are even NEMA 520 outlets, so they're capable of 20 amp load. This truck actually has 11 AC outlets around the entire truck, capable of a total of 9 kilowatts of power output. There are 4 in the bed here, plus one 240 volt outlet. The twist lock outlet is L1430P and is capable of up to 30 amps. Notice how these 120 volt outlets say A and B on the outside? Well, they're actually separate circuits, so not only can you charge an EV, you can charge two. The point is you've got a ton of outlets and power at your disposal, so it'd be great for providing power to a work site. Now that we're back here, the truck bed is 67.1 inches in length, 21.4 inches in height, and can fit up to 52.8 cubic feet of cargo. Optional in certain models is the power tailgate. There are so many details with the tailgate and truck bed. This should make working easier with ridges, tie downs, hooks, and areas to use clamps. There's also a step here. Pull it out. Onto the interior. I'm going to use a step here to get up, and good thing we have these handles here. In this model, we get the 15.5-inch portrait touchscreen. It's the same one we saw in the Mustang Mach-E, strange dial and all. A lot of functionality can be controlled from this screen, including AC, driving adjustments, lights, towing, and charging. It also accommodates Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You can keep your software up to date with over-the-air updates. This also has adjustable pedals. There's a button here that can move them forward and back, so that means I don't have to sit all the way up close to the steering wheel. I could sit back here and still reach the pedals. It's amazing for me. We've got heated and ventilated front seats and powered driver and passenger seats. All these fine adjustments on this seat is the best. There is no doubt the cabin is very spacious. Also, I've never seen this before. You can stow away the gear selector and fold out a surface to place your items. So there's a button here to fold it down. And then pull this over. You can set up your own office space in here. Really neat. Laptop, charger, plug right in. There we go. Your own office space in the car. Need to charge your phone? Try one of these USB outlets, or there's also a wireless charger down here. There's a good deal of storage in here, including beneath the back seats when you fold them up. While we're back here, you can actually fit 3 people comfortably, unlike other cars where the middle seat is super narrow. Here you can actually fit 3 people. Just sit back and relax. The truck is great for animals. Your pets can fit anywhere. Before we start our drive, we're at 100% and have 2,647 miles in the odometer. I'm going to try to bring down the battery and we can check in where the range is later. This truck feels really heavy. It weighs in over 6,000 pounds. The battery gives it a low center of gravity and also makes it less prone to rollovers in an accident. There are 4 driving modes: normal, sport, off-road, and a tow haul mode. I'll keep it in normal and sport for driving. I'm enjoying one-pedal driving, and this feature allows you to slow down and come to a complete stop by just using the accelerator pedal. You can turn off that feature in your settings with one-pedal drive and turn it off. Pretty comfortable in here for a truck. The cabin noise is minimal and the drive is nice. I'm appreciative of all the settings you have as a driver. I was a little nervous coming into the truck and driving, but no worries here. I have such a clear view of the front and my surroundings. The hood is kind of slightly slanted, and as you can see, I sit high up, but there's no need to because when I mentioned earlier, the pedals moved forward. So I'm really happy about the visibility in this truck. All the trucks come standard with Ford Co-Pilot 360, which includes things like lane keeping aid, the backup camera, and Ford collision warnings. Because we're in the Lariat model, we do get a little extra features as standard. So this comes with lane centering and adaptive cruise control. The suspension is kind of soft. When we go over bumps, you kind of bounce around with it too. The truck accelerates pretty swiftly too. Let's go into what's powering this EV. The battery in this truck is assembled at Ford's Rodsonville plant in Michigan. It comes in 2 variants, the standard range and extended range. The smaller of the 2 batteries is 98 kilowatt hours in size, while the larger is 131 kilowatt hours. The two packs are comprised of liquid-cooled lithium-ion pouch cells. Depending on the battery size you choose, you'll get either an 11.3 kilowatt or 19.2 kilowatt onboard charger. These seem very appropriately sized for their battery counterparts. A 19 kilowatt onboard charger is always nice to see on these big battery vehicles. The F-150 is set up with a dual motor configuration with the motors on the axles. They're produced out of the Van Dyke transmission factory, which is also in Michigan. The motors are in three-phase AC fixed magnet configuration and can produce 1,050 Newton meters of torque. Trucks aren't the most efficient, but an electric truck is a lot better than a gas one in this regard. The standard range Lightning gets 68 miles per gallon equivalent, and the extended range gets 70 miles per gallon equivalent. The F-150 isn't the fastest charging EV out there. If you have the standard range pack, you can expect a maximum charging speed of 120 kilowatts. And if you have the extended range, 155 kilowatts. That gives the F-150 about a 1.2 for a C rating. For reference, the best cars on the market have C ratings over a 3. To give you an idea of why I'm a bit surprised by that, my 2019 Standard Range Plus Model 3 can charge at a higher rate than the extended range truck, which has a battery that's over twice the size. Ford claims that going from 15 to 80% charge in this truck should take 44 minutes with the standard pack. Max charge rates aren't everything. If it can maintain a 120 kilowatts rate for a while, it could make it for an impressive charging curve. Before we plug in, let's check in on our mileage. We're at 25% and the odometer is at 2,841 miles. And we started at 2,647 miles. At 194 miles used, that means we're actually doing better than the original estimate by 17 miles. Great! Alright, I'm currently at 25%, so I'm gonna plug in. We are plugged into a 350 kilowatt charger. As usual, speeding this clip up, and I am adding the data points onto a graph. There were no issues with the charging stations, so we were quickly able to initiate a session and charged up to 80%. The cost at this charger was per minute, and our total came out to be $10.64. The duration of the charge was 26 minutes. Let's look at the charging graph. First things first, I am missing data points right when it hits 50%. At this point of the charge, the numbers were going up and down so fast, I didn't know what to write it down as. However, even with the missing data points, we have a pretty normal looking charging curve. We started off strong, even more than what Ford states the max charging rate is. Ford needs to update its documentation because this pack was able to pull 170 kilowatts and sustain speeds over 160 kilowatts for quite a while. Much better than the anticipated 120 kilowatts. Towing is a unique topic. I think the thing people want to know most about this truck and towing is the range loss. Unfortunately, there are so many factors that play into towing range loss, like the weight, aerodynamics, terrain, and even how you load the trailer. It just wouldn't be fair to give any numbers and call them factual. I will say, if you plan on towing with the truck regularly, it'd be a good idea to purchase the extended battery for $10,000. It also helps out your max charging rate too. You know what I like about the F-150 Lightning? The quietness of such a powerful truck. This EV has nice range, good towing capacity, and is quick. The Lightning is a respectable option in the upcoming market of electric trucks. How do you think it compares with the Rivian R1T, and how does it compete with the upcoming Cybertruck? Thanks for spending time with me today. Have an EV I can review? Email me at info@kaisev.com. Make sure to subscribe for more EV content and follow me on social media at KaiseV and Kai's Tesla. Kai's my dog. And check out my website for more EV resources at kaisev.com. That's all for now, and happy charging.